Good morning, afternoon, or evening. In this video, I'm going to give you the information you need to be prepared to take the special quiz on exercise 1-2, which is all about identifying arguments and just part of the reprise that we do at the end of the course to take us back to the building blocks of chapters 1 and 2 after the follow-up fallacy quiz was our first reprise quiz. So first, just to remind you of where this material is covered in the text, pages 4 through 7 introduce arguments and the nature of argumentation itself in this section. Then a discussion of the difference between a couple of different kinds of things. First, exposition and argument. Exposition most likely related to just giving us facts or journalistic style writing often. And in section 3, explanations, which as you can see, one of the best ways to do this is just to go to the exercise 1-2. But the difference here in section 3 is brought out very well by this passage, and then below it, if you see this example, New Hampshire's primaries have informally been the earliest since 1920, but over the years the state has passed laws to ensure that its primaries will remain the first in the nation. So that is not attempting to prove anything. There's no evidence presented to argue for a conclusion. So that's a pretty classic example of an explanation. Whereas in the example given here, you would see that this person is trying to make a point. And the difference is that this person is trying to discuss what should happen with the New Hampshire primary. And then lastly, in the section that this doesn't have nearly as much impact, so it was really those 3 sections. I'll jump to the PowerPoint to add some to this material. So clearly, indicator words can be very important for identifying arguments, but they are no guarantee, because the important thing that's going on in an argument is what is in between the lines, between the premises and the conclusion. Again, as it says here, only statements that provide reasons for believing something can form an argument. Therefore, if you are not doing that, you are not arguing. Explanations versus arguments in one of the better examples. Ways to think of this, if it helps, is that arguments are attempting to persuade us that a claim is true, and explanations are just trying to tell us that a claim is true. You might want to go back to the PowerPoint that I did, or the lecture I did on this PowerPoint as well at the beginning of the course, as a way of further studying for this quiz. So I'm going to go to the exercise set as the best way, since this is something that we had not looked at back when we started the chapter. As a first example, again, these asterisk ones are answered in the book. So we see the book is our authors are telling us this is an argument because it can be broken down into 2 premises which are attempting to support this conclusion. And again, the bottom line is that what makes it an argument is the recognition that this evidence is being used to support a persuasive argument. First good example of a non-argument is number 4. My summer vacation was spent working in Vegas. I worked as a waitress at the Tropicana and made tons of money, but I guess I got addicted to the slots and didn't save too much. That's why I'll try to find work outside a casino. So this person is just telling us a little bit about their summer vacation, a kind of a classic example of exposition, narrative, and here our authors are telling us that there's an explanation. So this is actually a combination of explanation and exposition, but not an argument. Obviously, the person started making more claims beyond this, what they've written here, then they could getting into argumentative territory, but they are not at that point. Another good example of a non-argument is number 6. Again, if you look at that, read it to yourself, you will see it's nothing but a list of facts, numbers, and other facts about colleges in general, never reaching or even attempting to make a conclusion. Another classic case of an explanation, so non-argument, is number 9. West Virginia is a state because Union Allied counties, what was then Confederate Virginia, voted to separate shortly after Virginia's secession. So again, just explaining something, even though there is a because here, it is the because of explanation. Let's take a look at the next 2, which are good examples of arguments. So Descartes' statement, good sense is of all things in the world most equally distributed, for everybody thinks himself so abundantly provided with it that even those most difficult to please in other matters do not commonly desire more of it than they already possess. Again, putting this together, Descartes' ultimate point is that good sense is equally distributed, and then this is a premise indicator, and the connection between this thought and the conclusion is what the book is calling an implied premise. So he is making a point here. He is providing evidence for it, and as our authors say, in their comment, that it's fairly clear that he's probably being a little bit ironic or even sarcastic, but that doesn't change the fact that it's an argument. Another good example is 11. Since baseball players who take steroids have an unfair advantage over those who don't, it follows that they should not be inducted into the Hall of Fame, because giving them that honor would corrupt the basic fairness and integrity of the game. So since, premise indicator, baseball players who take steroids have an unfair advantage, because taking steroids gives them, and therefore they should not be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And then because the conclusion is obviously that they should not be inducted, and this because is connecting the 2 premises, first premise, second premise. So again, the entire quiz is identifying arguments. So just a quick reminder of the format of it, because it is somewhat unique, and I will show it to you. Open it. Okay, so you will see in the description that instead of argument, non-argument, they are labeled as true-false statements. So meaning that, and you should be able to see this description, your 2 choices for all of them, there are 12 questions, will be if it's an argument, you put true, and if it's not an argument, you put false. So and please do note that in the description, that's the the question and answer format for the quiz. Okay, other material on Chapter 10, other video will be available to you this week as well. So check that out. Thanks.